Hello and welcome. You're watching 5 at 5. There were multiple discussions since last week or maybe last 10 days around, the possibility of VVS Lakshman. And there were a lot of chatter around, will he be the next chairman selector? There was a lot of chatter around, will he be the, at certain extent, he could be the next red ball coach. That was, floating in social media. And there were a lot of buzz around that there could be something which apart from that center of excellence head, the post, he could get something else apart from this. But since yesterday night, again, there was a lot of buzz around that BCCI will create. And what I'm hearing from the sources that, in the next 2-year extension, he will get, a certain power, a certain authority. It's not like that the previous assignment or the previous post doesn't have any kind of authority or any kind of power, but this time around it could be something which is very much a fresh kind of a start for Indian cricket. And when I'm talking about Indian cricket, it's not only about men's cricket, it's also about women's cricket. A lot of people are comparing with the short stint of Ravi Shastri also during that 2014 to 2016 period. There is a vast difference between that appointment and this appointment. So I'll go with Shomikda. Shomikda, what you are hearing around this, the VVS Lakshman thing, the new post of a director of cricket. Yes, we have heard of Ravi Shastri being the director at that. After that, India lost the series 1-3 in England. And for the white ball series, Ravi Shastri, it was a quick call from N. Srinivasan. I still remember reading articles at that point of time and listening onto the videos that it was a quick call from Srinivasan. He said to Ravi Shastri that go take the charge. There were fielding coach Trevor Penny, if I'm not wrong. There were bowling coach, I think Joe Dawes. They were sent for a rest. They never came back. And then this trio of Ravi Shastri, Bharat Arun, and Arshri, the legendary trio that starts from there. But how different will this be if this new post which is making the buzz in social media? What you think of this and what your sources are saying, Shamikta?
So to start with, I will never question the veracity of a report which is filed by a reporter. He must have his sources. That's why he filed this report or he came up with that. So I have to respect that. But as far as I'm concerned, according to my sources, VVS Lakshman becoming the next, red ball coach of the Indian, the chances are remote because the BCCI still has very much the support is around Gautam Gambhir, and irrespective, and I have written this, that irrespective of the series against Sri Lanka that is starting tomorrow, it is unlikely that Gambhir would be removed. If Gambhir walks, that is a different story altogether. Otherwise, say removing him and going for split coaching, according to my sources, we have because things can change rapidly in Indian cricket, but as things stand, it looks unlikely where Gautam Gambhir is still the coach, Lakshman is the director of cricket, which this story has been is doing the rounds. Now, drawing an analogy, that Duncan Fletcher Ravi Shastri analogy, as far as I'm concerned, during that also reported that story, I think a bit out of place because Gautam Gambhir is a very strong. He is like Duncan Fletcher. When Ravi Shastri and Mr. Srinivasan brought in Ravi Shastri, Duncan Fletcher was made completely. For another year, he was still there, but his role became completely peripheral. Control was with
Yes.
Ravi Bhai. Now, with VVS Lakshman coming in and taking off and making Gautam Gambhir peripheral, this is an unlikely scenario. And just as a figure at VVS Lakshman becoming the director of cricket, just as a figure, which this is also unlikely. This is also an unlikely scenario because a player VVS Lakshman still, I don't think he will accept something that would be peripheral. Now you come to another situation or another possibility where Ajit Agarkar, his term, in September as chief selector, and VVS Lakshman take at this moment in time. VVS is a, VVS is still a little bit reluctant, but what I am hearing, that could be a possibility.
So what I get as what Shamikda said, I think there's some network issue also there. But when it comes down to the appointment as far as the director of cricket for this VVS Lakshman is concerned, I think it won't be a day-to-day affair, which was in the case of Ravi Shastri. It won't be something that he'll be actively participation, sitting in the dugout. No, that's not going to be the case. It's something like, I don't want to use the analogy, but at this point of time I have that in mind, and that means maybe the people who follow Indian military and the tri services, they understand it really well. They appointed a chief of defense staff, CDS, for the tri services, just just for the only thing, just for the theaterization thing. But the one common thing here is that we will have a better coordination. And when it comes down to VVS Lakshman and the Indian team, as I mentioned earlier, it's about the men's team, it's about the women's team, it's about the center of excellence, it's about the A team also. So he's not going to be there in day-to-day affairs, intervene between the day-to-day affairs, but he will be a critical part when it comes down to the selection of your coaches, when it comes down to selection of your selectors. He'll come down when it will come down to a tour or planning of a tour is concerned. He'll come down when you have to take big decisions, like what happened in England after one failure and second failure in Cardiff. It was all around the round that Rohit Sharma will retire. Certain communications has been made. So I think on those points, I think BCCI, I think, want a uniformity rather than certain
Rohit,
things are coming out.
Rohit, Rohit, sorry to interrupt.
Yes, yes,
Rohit,
yes.
sorry to interrupt. Just one. I think we need to also clarify, as you see, it's a. I mean, as you do the analogy of the CDS, we need to clarify that, look, what happens in CDS. CDS is not something supersedes the other three generals, other three chief of staff, like Army, Navy, and he is also poster general like the other three chief of staff, and he is better coordination between the three forces. He is not like someone Asim Munir in Pakistan, who is a five-star general and who is the field marshal. So it is the better coordination. Here, what happens in cricket? What happens in cricket? There, it cannot be a democratic setup in the sense that there has to be just one in terms of stuff, and there has to be one. The captain is one power center. As far as the coach is concerned, it is the another power center. In that, there cannot be sentence. And if VVS Lakshman is coming in as hypothetical director of cricket, Gautam Gambhir staying, then there are two power centers. At time, I don't see this happening. I'm sorry to
but but
interrupt you,
but
Rohit. Please carry on.
that's why I'm saying that it's not only about the men's cricket, it's also about the women's cricket. It's also about taking care each each together, as far as the women's cricket, the center of excellence. Because what we are observing from last couple of months, or maybe couple of years, add a couple of years to it, that there is a lack of coordination. Shubhanda, when it comes down to this particular post, do you think that there is a need of this post around what has gone around in if you see last couple of months also, what happened during that England thing, what is going on in center of excellence? We still don't have someone in place of a Nitin Patel. We still don't know about the fitness and the clarity as far as the center of excellence is concerned. And obviously then there is, if you want something as one man to go for the accountability, I think then this post makes sense to me. But what do you think of this?
See, Rohit, I think this post, if VVS Lakshman gets promoted eventually, it's my opinion. It won't create two power centers or multiple power centers within the BCCI or within the playing members of the teams or teams. VVS will come as the the ultimate operator, the communicator for the India men's team, women's team, A team, junior team, because a lot happens behind the scenes when it comes to Indian cricket. It's just not the men's cricket team or a test series going on. There will be a women's Asia Cup very soon. There will be a women's bilateral series. Who will get the managerial
There
post,
was
team
an emerging
managers?
tournament going on. There
Yes,
was an emerging
yes.
tournament which was going on in Center of Excellence. Yes.
Yes, yes, and apart from that, there are multiple small camps that happens. Apart from the playing members, there are umpire courses. There are other courses, match referee courses, which also takes place within the BCCI, within the Center of Excellence. So I think VVS Lakshman, if I have to talk about men's team's perspective, it will be about better coordination across all departments. Recently, we saw Sai Sudarshan, Jasprit Bumrah, Washington Sundar was not named, but it was perceived that he will get the clearance by the second
End
test.
of first
But
test. Yeah.
yes, end of first test by the start of second test, and he will be
Yes.
available. But it did not happen. So who was making those calls? Because Center of Excellence don't have a medical head. So who was giving those clearance or giving that assumption, giving that picture that we will get Sai Sudarshan ready by first test, or we will get Jasprit Bumrah ready by first test. And not only this, Shubman Gill, when he said after the South Africa series that we need to prepare better for test series, you can't go and straight away complain to a Devajit Saikia or someone from the BCCI top brass. You will have to go through a middleman, through someone who understands cricket, who understands the demand of these players, who understand what these players need to get better. And that is where VVS Lakshman's role will come into the picture. Shubman Gill or Gautam Gambhir or team management, they will submit a report to a VVS Lakshman that we had a fantastic series against South in Sri Lanka. We would want to do the same in New Zealand. I know the schedule is pretty tight for the New Zealand series, but if possible, we can have a. They will give their own recommendation. VVS Lakshman will, again, being the experience he has for playing for India, he will give his own recommendations there, and then VVS Lakshman will speak to Devajit Saikia, and then they will coordinate with the New Zealand Cricket Board. That is how a channel has to happen. If I have a small grievance, I can't go to Boriada and complain straight away. I'll have to go to my immediate boss and say that I'm having some issues during this tour. If from next tour onwards we can do these things better. If someone is under me or you, he will come to you, and then you will communicate it to our supreme boss. So a channel, it's all about creating a channel. It is not in, I don't think it will involve selection matters, but again, I think there will be a communication channel regarding other stuff as well, which happens around Indian cricket. Yes, senior players, if they have any issues with the team management, with the coaches, with how they are training or how they are being how they are being looked upon within the dressing room, then they can go and give their own grievances. It's like an ombudsman, I would say, for the
Yes.
BCCI, who will take the grievances, who will take your issues and then pass it to the top brasses to just make sure that things don't happen in a certain way, which creates problem for players or the team management. Even coaches can go and tell it to BVS that we are having issues like this, etc., etc., etc. This player is behaving like this, a big player is behaving like this. They can go to VVS. VVS can communicate with it with the player that you have to create certain boundaries around it, just to create a proper environment. I think this post will be created, perhaps for the
Or
second
maybe
time in.
or maybe who will be responsible if you are saying that team management is asking for a player when the player is not ready. I don't want to name players here, but we saw in the Ireland and the England tour that players were looking not ready to participate in an international game, and suddenly we saw a couple of players there, certain players with different kind of all kind of different kind of challenges. And then where's the accountability holds? Means team management is not accountable, center of excellence is not accountable, chairman selector and his committee is not accountable. Then who's accountable? Bharat, when you know about all of this, that there could be this particular new post been given to VVS Lakshman. You were there in the center of excellence store also. Is there anything around that time also that you observe that's something which is the need of the hour at this point of time? Because in last 1 week or 10 days or maybe last 2 weeks, we have discussed this multiple times, that why this is happening in Indian cricket. If certain players are injured, then let them take full time. I was watching this Sai Sudarshan picture in a Nike store today, and he still have that bandage on his toe. That means there was no chance at all of him being coming to this test series and playing the first test match, where someone reported that he'll be there on 8th. I don't know about that, but you can see his toe, you can see his feet, and you can clearly make out that, not able to participate. Similar thing happened with the Jasprit Bumrah, as Shubhanda rightly said. A Washington Sundar, we still don't know whether he'll come for the second test or not. Most probably not. So, are we getting a complete clarity on what is going on in Indian cricket? There was no review meeting. We were hearing this from long that there was review meeting, review meeting, review meeting. I heard
I
that
think
was not.
BCCI secretary came on record and
Yes.
said there will be a review meeting.
I think, but BCCI secretary, from the part of BCCI secretary, I think he was not well during that scheduled point of time. So, and there was obviously the floods in Assam were also going on. So I don't know, but I came to know this, that he was not well at that point of time. But Bharat, how do you see this?
You see, first of all, obviously, at the Center of Excellence press conference, first of all, they took us to a tour, and then there's a press conference where, as expected, VVS Lakshman defended every question that was related to communication process. That is, of course, kind of expected, but he did say one word, couple of words, that is like I can't say the exact words, but something like I want to kind of extend my time here at Center of Excellence, or BCCI has given me a kind of extension where to set certain things right. These are not the exact words that he used. It is there somewhere in the copy that I wrote and also in the PTC, but something on those lines he said. So maybe it is an indicator in relation to this communication process. That is what he was trying to connect. But obviously, as expected, he defended the communication process by saying that, for example, if someone like Gautam Gambhir tells me that a certain cricketer needs to upscale his skill game or something like that, then we will have a coach for him. He can come out to Center of Excellence and specific coach for him, or on those lines. He kept saying that by defending the communication process, but he did say those couple of words that that BCCI has given me an extension, a kind of extension for a couple of years to set certain things right. So maybe that is an indicator that by appointing or giving VVS Lakshman a bigger role, as I also heard from the top brass, that trying to get certain things right. Hopefully that will be the case from Indian cricket's point of view, because there are lots of injuries and you don't know what exactly is happening with certain fast bowlers as well. They hardly play first class cricket. Uh, are they really mapping this some of these young fast bowlers? It's not like India don't have fast bowlers. You just look at Bangladesh. I don't think Bangladesh have a better crop of young fast bowlers than the Indian fast bowlers, but they're fitter. They're playing match after match, and they're giving Bangladesh results in the test match in Darwin. But with Indian young fast bowlers, you look at Mayank Yadav, you look at Karthik Tyagi, you look at Ashok Sharma, you look at Mohsin Khan. Mohsin Khan has played only one first class game, that also some 5 years ago, and Mayank Yadav played one first class game somewhere in 2022.
He's still in
4
Center of
years ago.
Excellence.
So, yeah,
Mohsin Khan.
yeah, he's playing. Mohsin Khan is. Mayank Yadav is playing in the DPL, but these guys are always on a surgeon stable. So Indian management has to look at on an overall basis the fitness of their fast bowlers, and in terms of communication process as well. What exactly is going wrong? It goes, I think, beyond just communication process as to why so many fast bowlers are breaking down. I understand. See, as VVS Lakshman told that injuries are part and parcel of cricket. They try to defend it again, but still, why so many injuries are happening to your young fast bowlers in particular? Because Jasprit Bumrah is not going to be around forever. Even Mohammad Siraj, who knows, might get injured in a year or so, because he's bowling so many times over a long period of time. So that is why I think it goes beyond the communication process. As you talked about Nitin as well, a question was again put forward about him, and he said that there's no one of Nitin's caliber or kind of caliber that we're looking out for to fill that particular position. So these things they have to delve deeper into, because too many injuries are happening as far as Indian cricket is concerned, and it is acting as a hurdle. So hopefully this bigger role will help the Indian team. But he did make those particular point in that press conference that
Sure.
BCCI is kind of going to give him a role where to set certain things right.
Okay, Shamikda, going forward, what's it's been like, that joint press conference, not something which is very, very every time you see in a bilateral series. In Sri Lanka, you see it a lot. Last time I remember, when Surya Kumar Yadav captained India at the Pallekele, it was again the joint press conference. Here also, it was a joint press conference. Any inputs from the joint press conference, or apart from that, anything from the practice session? Which you want to conclude this thing with?
Good. You mentioned joint press conference, Rohit. It was a joint press conference. It was a joint pre-match press conference. It offered a bit of novelty. Apart, yes, from that press conference, two things stood out. One is that Shubman sort of putting down a marker and saying, yes, we need 7 to 10 days at least to test series. Yes, because all know how badly the India team last year against South Africa. When South Africa landed in the two test series, India were playing a white ball series in Australia. And last T20 in Brisbane, Shubman was there, Sundar and Jasprit Bumrah, and all of them featured in the test series. Attended the press conference after the 2-0 whitewashing got in the tetchy atmosphere. It was sort of a no-holds-barred press conference from Gautam Gambhir. And Gautam Gambhir clearly said the test cricket. So that preparation time, and Shubman Gill, obviously, but he didn't publicly say that he took this to the BCCI, but obviously this to the BCCI and scheduling what we have been seeing this time around, a better scheduling. That is one thing. Another thing, Shubman asked him about Gurnur Brar and Prashith Krishna, who might play in the first test. And Shubman said, look, it is a very, very tough, because Gurnur Brar, the way he has been bowling, his ability to extract bounce of the old ball, his pace, everything. He is fantastic. At the same time, Prashith Krishna too has been bowling well. So, a very tough call. We have to take a decision. I think this is the only one spot, because if you just playing 11 tomorrow, I mean, the rest is absolutely settled. There was a mini debate between whether it is Sarfraz or Group. That has been settled as well. At least in the first test, Group Jurel would be there. There is that Devdutt particle. So this only one place, whether Sarfraz or Gurnur Brar. Sarfraz, I'm so sorry, Prashith Krishna or Gurnur Brar. Today at the session, Gurnur Brar was there, but Prashith was not there. So, then just maybe Prashith would be playing the first test. Let's see what happens. Other than that, it was a sort of vanilla press conference. Nothing much. Nothing. As, number 3 position changing. And yes, we have been in constant touch with the players who are doing rehab, getting updates and all. So this is the case. Basically, this is a sort of run of the mill we had today. Now it's all set on the Independence Day. 6 India would be playing. It's a huge honor and privilege India to lead India, and the of which coincides with the independence, with our Independence Day.
Obviously, there have been multiple occasions. I remember one of the England game in 2014 Test series. It was again starting on somewhere, I think, around Independence Day, or maybe in between there was an Independence Day. But Shubhanda, coming to coming to
No, no, first
obviously
day.
the
You are right. 2014, the first day
yeah,
was the first day our Independence Day. 2014. You are
yes,
right. Absolutely right.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, so Shubhanda, coming to the combination, are we sorted around Dhruv Jurel and Sarfaraz Khan? Are we sorted around Manav Sutar, Ravindra Jadeja, Kuldeep Yadav? Is Kuldeep Yadav a surety finally? Here, can we expect him to get into the 11 without any ifs and buts? And obviously, the last part, which Shamikda also said that you asked from Shubman Gill about the Gurnur Brar and Prasidh Krishna factor. But as we all know, that the bowler who's bowling on match day -1 hardly gets any chance as far as the match is concerned. So are we all set for that same playing 11, which I think you also tweeted? I think Shamikda also mentioned in multiple lives and copies that what could be the combination as far as Indian team is concerned.
Yeah, absolutely. I asked two questions actually around KL Rahul and Ravindra Jadeja sharing their experience from playing in 2017 as well, and he did
Yeah,
accept that during the team meetings, during casual chats, players have been tapping into KL Rahul and Jadeja. Although Kuldeep, I missed out Kuldeep Yadav's name. He played the last test in 2017, but
that's not new.
both.
Means with Kuldeep Yadav, we all
I,
know that people forget him.
I hope the team management won't forget him. I met Kuldeep Yadav last evening. He was
Yeah,
along with Ravindra Jadeja at Golf Fort, and they both looked pretty relaxed. So I'm pretty sure going by whatever we have reported, I think that is going to be the same 11. What stood out for me from that Shubman's answer or Gurnur and Prasidh, I think he said Prasidh has been bowling the best Shubman has seen him bowl. So that is where everyone started to look at each other, all the reporters, and everyone almost had this confirmation that Prasidh is going to play. And Gurnur turned up for the practice session. Manav Sutar also turned up for the practice session. But at the same time, they focused on their batting, and none of them bowled. Manav Sutar had a separate 15-20 minute session with Sairaj Bahutule at the adjacent main center wicket. But apart from that, nothing major. KL Rahul was here, Ravindra Jadeja was here, Shubman Gill was here. They batted for around 40-45 minutes, but very light knocking and just facing the spinners, the four net spinners, net bowlers over here. They are also returning back this evening, all four of them, so they won't be there to help the Indian players prepare in Colombo. But the one aspect which we are going to witness over the next 5 days are short rain spell breaks. Today,
okay.
there were 3-4 times, the players had to run back to the dressing room and again come back after 10-15 minutes. So that is a frustrating aspect. Even a couple of coaches and the players were discussing that, this is going to be a frustrating element in this particular test match. And it won't be 1 hour, 2 hour long rain break. It will be 10-15 minutes where they will have to rush back to the dressing room and again come back on the field. If you are batting, then you'll have to focus, start from the scratch once again. If you are bowling, the ball will get wet. It will slightly get wet, and it will be difficult to grip
Heavy
the
also.
ball. It will get heavier. So there are certain things which are going to be an irritating or a frustrating aspect in this test match with
Sure,
rain being short rain breaks being one of them.
sure. I hope you must have asked Kuldeep Yadav about the Rodri move. I don't know whether you asked or
Yeah,
not.
we are in a tussle right now. It's not the best. We don't have the best of
He did.
relationships as far as.
Yeah, yeah, he
No,
did.
no, no, no. I think
He did.
I spoke to Kuldeep 4 or 5 times. I think every time I saw his face, I said, "Don't talk to me if you are taking Rodri." And he was like, "Arey, imagine he was singing a song. He was singing a song, Rodri Petri, Rodri Petri, Rodri Petri." So as soon as he saw me, the second time he started singing that song, Rodri, Rodri.
But he was damn good on predictions. I asked him
Yeah.
before that Argentina England game, what do you think? He said Argentina. And then I asked him about who's lifting the cup, and he said Spain. And before that, also we had a couple of conversations around that. What's going to happen? Can you predict something? And he was spot on. So
He
maybe
has a, he has a good
means
footballing
we
brain.
all know.
He
Yeah,
watches
maybe
football since he.
maybe he can wait as far as his. I don't know whether when he will call it a day as far as his cricket is concerned, but the second innings is already set for him. If he
Yeah,
can
yeah, yeah.
tell if he can tell this to David Beckham that there are certain problems in your team as far as strategies is concerned in that semi-final meet and greet, I think he can do
No,
anything.
He has a good football brain. We were talking about Barcelona
Without doubt.
midfield as well.
Without a doubt.
So
Without a doubt. Not even
I mean
Barcelona.
I
I can tell
don't
you.
when I see
Yeah.
Kuldeep Yadav, we don't talk cricket. It's always football.
Yes. It's always football. Sure. Bharat, I want you to predict the series scoreline for me with obviously, a little detail around it. What do you think? It's going to be a 2-0. Will India take time to settle down in Galle, and then it could be a 1-1? They can win Colombo and lost at Galle. What your scoreline? And then I'll go to my guests also, Shubhanda and Chamikda, around what's their series scoreline as far as predictions are concerned.
See, if India are going to lose this series, then they are in massive trouble because they can't. If you look at the two teams, they shouldn't lose. But cricket is obviously sport is obviously not played on paper. It is played on a ground, so that is something that you can tell. But India can't lose the series
But
against this Sri Lankan team.
yesterday, Shubhayan Chakravarti met the king of Galle, Prabhat Jayasuriya.
Two kings.
So
Ramesh
now
Mendis was also with him.
Ramesh
yeah.
Mendis and
Ramesh
Prabhat
Mendis,
Jayasuriya.
he was even more because he has only taken 71 test wickets. In that 64 have come at one ground, that is in Galle. So they have basically picked him for that only. So yes, but you have to say that Prabhat Jayasuriya is not in good form. I don't know what has happened behind the scenes because maybe it is coach's fault or whatever it is. When he first came on the scene, he was bowling quicker through the air and getting turn at pace. Nowadays, he's not doing that. Somewhere is out of rhythm. That's what I thought when I watched him in the West Indies. Obviously, different conditions, but still, you expect India to come out on top in the series. Maybe because of intermittent spells of rain somewhere in one of the test matches. Who knows? It could get drawn, but still, I expect
2-0?
India to.
2-0, Bharat?
It should be 2-0, but
In favor of
maybe.
India.
Yeah. I said if Sri Lanka. Yeah, I finally you can't predict with 100%.
If it's 2-0 in favor of Sri Lanka, then we are going to see a lot bigger changes in the Indian team.
It's only slightly better than Australia losing to Bangladesh in Darwin. That's all. It's only slightly better than Australia they're likely going to lose in Darwin. But on paper, India should.
If India lose 2-0, then Shubhanda will swim from Jaffna to Dhanushkodi. Shamikda, your prediction.
I'll take the bridge which Lord Ram took centuries ago.
Shamikda, your prediction.
No, Rohit, as far as prediction is concerned, it's very. Yeah, Rohit, it is very difficult. Not a ball has been, and we don't know how the pitch will be. By the look of it, you can say that this test match is very likely going to be a first innings affair. Will take the initiative that will boss the first innings, will have their upper hand because the first 2 days at Galle, the first 2 days are the best. The pitch will be the best for batting. So you have to this game by the levels. So first innings is going to be very, very important. And which way the toss will go. Toss could be also very important. So as far as concerned, I would like to hold my horses. Let's see which way the toss, and let's see how the first innings pans out. I will give you a day 3, Rohit.
Okay, we'll wait for the day 3. Shubhanda, you also want to wait for day 3, or you are giving your prediction?
2-0 India. If we are afraid of facing this Sri Lankan team who have struggled in Test cricket for a while now, then I think the problem lies somewhere in Indian Test cricket. It should be a 2-0 scoreline for India and an easy one, I would say.
At the end, I'll only say this, that when Shubhanda was going for that India-New Zealand series, I was very much optimistic because me and Shamikda came from a 2-0 whitewash against Bangladesh. Means India obviously won there. And after that, it all started from Shubhanda going to Bengaluru, overcast sky. Right behind him, I can see some patches of cloud. It's an overcast evening, I think, in Galle. And again, Shubhanda is there. So hopefully not that kind of a result.
After that, I'm an Asia Cup winner. I'm a T20 World Cup winner.
Red ball, Shubhanda, red ball.
Red ball I have not covered much. Red ball I have not covered much.
Red ball, you went to the Afghanistan test, and you
We
have
won.
covered everything. You have covered Border Gavaskar Trophy, we lost. You have covered England
Now,
series. We didn't
England,
won.
England, we
Draw.
drew the series 2-2. Who would have thought? Who would have thought 25 days of Test cricket?
Yeah.
One
But
scoring
thank you.
750 runs.
Thank you so much. I hope that India return, as winners as far as 2-0 scoreline is concerned. We'll see. But thank you so much, gentlemen. We'll get the reports from, as far as Shubhanda is concerned, Shamikda is concerned, from Sri Lanka. They're writing also. You can check out the Rev Sports website. You can see their coverage in our Rev Sports English page, Hindi page, Bangla page, and obviously follow our social media handles for interesting stories like what one Shubhanda shared today only. KL Rahul taking a tuk-tuk, it means auto rickshaw as far as our language is concerned. So he was taking a tuk-tuk and, roaming in the city. That's, you cannot expect him to do that in Bengaluru or anywhere in India. But in Sri Lanka, they can do it, more specifically at Galle. So do check out the social media handles also. You'll get some different and incredible stories. Thank you so much for watching.